Hello and welcome to the RPG Rundown. I'm Seth.
And I'm Jeff. From dungeons to deep space, we've got the systems and the stories for your table. Hey guys, welcome back to the RPG Rundown. We've got another great episode lined up for you today. This one's all about roleplay. Specifically, we're diving into how you can become a better role player in your TTRPGs. So, whether you're brand new to the table or a long-time dice roller looking to sharpen your skills, I think this episode is going to be helpful for you. But before we dive in, let's go ahead. We'll talk about what we've been doing in our TTRPG and hobby lives. We won't go very long in that, but we'll discuss at least briefly. Then there's some product releases, crowdfunding stuff to talk about, and we'll dive into the main topic. So, with that, Seth, what have you been? What's been going on in your life?
Yeah, so I know last time I said I was reading my Cosmere RPG PDFs. Um, and since last time, I have received my Cosmere books. Um,
Nice.
you know, uh, that would be something wonderful to show off, but it's out of reach. I'm not going to grab for it. However, I will say that I did some film and unboxing, and so I've got to edit it together, and so that will be added to the channel very soon.
Nice. All right.
So yes, everything looks amazing. I'm super excited. Yeah, yeah. I just got to find time to set up a game, probably in the next month,
Understand that.
and then not only will we have an actual play one shot, probably with a friend or two of ours from some other podcasts. Um, you know, maybe some that joined us last time.
Hmm.
But we we will. Oh my gosh, my mind just totally went blank where I was going with that. Uh, Besides that, we will have. Oh, we'll have our critical review. That's what I was going to say.
There we go.
Once we do that, we will hit it with our critical review. So we'll have a critical review episode of that.
Hmm.
Um, since it will have been actually released, not in beta.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, other than that, I finished Mistborn Era 2.
Okay. Nice.
And the books are a lot shorter, so I was able to get through them a lot faster. That said, we're not going to go into them. I told Jeff he needs to start in on them because they're fantastic. I am super excited about them and for the next era, Era 3. Um, so yes, after that, and I say this is also hobby progress. I saw some people posting on X about it, and I realized I had not watched John Carter. Have you ever watched that, Jeff?
I actually have not. I've heard about it as well, but I've not watched it.
It's a 2012 Disney movie. However, um, I knew John Carter as a story was old. No
Hmm.
idea how old. Jeff, it's the oldest. It is the
Hmm. What do
oldest.
you mean?
It is the oldest sci-fi, I think. I don't know of any older. It's
Mm.
older than Tolkien.
Okay.
It's older than Dune. It's 1912 was when it was written.
Really?
John
Wow.
Carter
Okay.
series. Um, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and the author who wrote it also wrote Tarzan and something else. There's another one that's like a trifecta of characters in his universe. But yes, John Carter is a sci-fi series. The movie was from 2012. Fantastic, like super underrated. Excellent aliens, very descriptive. And so, because of that, I spent an Audible credit to get, I think there's actually maybe 10 John Carter stories, but the seven most popular are in a series collection on Audible.
Okay.
And so I got that. And I have started in on book one, which is close to the movie.
Hmm.
Um, but the movie definitely was written and luxuries were taken with certain things in the story, not in a bad way necessarily. And because I watched the movie first, I don't think it affected it negatively.
Right. Okay.
But the book's well written for being 1912, for being 113 years old.
Right. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like most of it's like reading Mark
Like
Twain.
Narnia.
No,
Okay.
no, it's
Oh,
earlier than
okay.
Narnia even. It's like reading Mark Twain or something.
Okay.
Um, because the character of John Carter, and we're not going to go into too deep, I promise. The character of John Carter is a post-Civil War veteran.
Okay.
So
That's pretty cool.
it
Yeah.
honestly was a great follow-up to me finishing Mistborn Era 2 because
Right.
it's very much they have, muskets and rifles and ride horses, but are
Mhm.
familiar with things like those early sciences kind of thing
Okay.
of the
Yeah.
1912s, like, they're aware of um, you know, some of the technology that was emerging during that time.
Hmm.
So yeah, very cool.
Cool.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Highly
Yeah.
recommend. And because you can get the whole collection for you can get the books individually, but because you can get the whole
Hmm.
collection for one Audible credit,
Right.
it's like 55 hours for 7
Yeah.
books. So that's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. I mean, pretty solid.
And so I tell you this because it ties into the TTRPG hobby progress.
Hmm.
In that one, I want to now do a campaign or at least a short adventure. Dare I say even a Daggerheart not mainframe, a Daggerheart uh, campaign frame in the John Carter universe.
That would be really awesome.
Um, let me. It's also just a phenomenal Spelljammer type, um,
Mhm.
like setting. Like it is a better Spelljammer setting than Spelljammer.
Really,
It's amazing. Yes.
that's pretty great. Okay.
Um,
I see. Now
and
I have to watch the movie because
you do have to watch the movie. It's on
I just
Disney
looked it up. I
Plus.
remember seeing like the a
Yeah.
picture
See,
of it
I
and
didn't
stuff,
know
but I've
anything
never.
about it, right?
No, me
And I
either.
don't, I don't feel like it was advertised very well. Uh, Super underrated, and there's a lot of known actors in there. Like not like super famous, but like all the like you will recognize most of the actors and actresses, and you won't even recognize some of the voice actors. But they're like William Dafoe is like one of the main aliens. So
Sorry, I was muted for a second.
that's okay.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I say that because in searching for I knew that they canceled because it was originally supposed to be a trilogy of movies. They canceled the efforts to make movies 2 and 3. So I'm very saddened by that, and they will not make it anytime soon, if
Hmm.
ever. So that's why I had to go find the books because I need to know continued adventures
You
of
need to
John
know what's
Carter.
going on. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, and in searching for that, I found that there was a Kickstarter a year, maybe a year and a half ago, for a
Hmm.
full audio production of the first book as an audio drama with actors and actresses playing the roles, full production. I have not listened to it yet,
Okay.
but the Kickstarter is done. I think it was supposed to have been delivered within the last month or two. So you can actually go basically buy it now. But part of that Kickstarter, Jeff, was that they also had an RPG supplement for that included rules for
Hmm.
3 systems: D&D
Hmm.
5e, Pathfinder
Okay.
2.0, and OSR
That's pretty cool.
for the John Carter
So
universe.
it's all already out there. I
It's
mean
already
the.
out there. You can go click buy
Mhm.
and you can download. I haven't done it yet because I wanted to
Mhm.
read through the books first, um, to make sure that because I think it's still like $50 or something.
Right.
But I think it comes with the first audiobook production and the RPG. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. That's kind of a little confusing, but yeah. So
Yeah, that's
highly
pretty awesome.
recommend. you watch the movie.
I definitely will.
It's it was a Disney movie, so it's not like super violent. You know,
Hmm.
it's Star Wars violence, so pretty
Hmm.
tame. You know,
Right.
um, but yeah, good, good, good movie,
Very
good
cool.
book so far. Highly recommend. Um, and we'll have to chat about it. So
Right. Absolutely. That's cool.
that and Mistborn. Those are your objectives. Those are your mission
Yes,
objectives.
Mistborn
Yeah.
is on the list.
So
Um,
that said, Jeff, what have you been
yeah.
doing?
Yeah. So, honestly, I've kind of taken a short break on reading. I've been doing a lot of listening to like podcasts and some theology stuff. And so that's mostly what I've been listening to. As far as TTRPG stuff, my Daggerheart campaign, we've been rolling pretty good. I would say my players are 2 sessions from the end of the written campaign as it sits right now. I do think they're wanting to keep it going. So I'll write more at that point, but they are almost to the finish of what I had planned.
Nice.
And then I actually got to this Friday. If you can't hear it, I've been a little bit sick. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but my wife tested negative for everything that mattered. So I'm assuming it's allergies, but I didn't have much of a voice. So Friday I asked if someone else would run something, and Reborn actually ran a one shot. So I got to play Daggerheart instead of DMing it, and
Awesome.
I got to play as one of the playtest classes. I played as the Brawler, and I played
Ooh,
him just as like a bare knuckles. Like he was a bouncer at a tavern that got shut down, and so
yeah.
like he was hidden, which worked out perfect for the one shot because the tavern was shut down, and like that whole side of town was shut down. It was part of the quest was to get it open back up. So my guy was just ready to bust heads to open the tavern back up, and but it was so much fun. I played that, and then I played one of the like the ancestry that was also from the Void, which was like Hearthkin. I can't remember, but anyway,
Man,
it was
it's been
really
a few
fun.
weeks. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, actually, I take it. My entire character was as playtest material. Now that I think about it,
Nice.
because I also played like basically the Air Genasi, which is
Oh
playtest.
yeah.
I played the Brawler, which was playtest, and then even his like ancestry, where he's from, was from the playtest material. So
Let's
it was a lot of fun though.
let's
It
be
was a
honest.
challenging combat.
There it's that playtest material is like 85-90% complete though. So
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's very fleshed out now. I felt like he was, of course, he's probably the first just straight up DPS character I've played in a long time. I always end up playing uh, tanks. Always end up playing like tanks, healers, or the like charismatic one. So I very rarely play something just for damage, but I felt like he could lay out some damage with just his fists. It
oh
was a lot of
yeah, I
fun.
bet. Well, that's
But
awesome.
yeah,
I am
that's
excited.
pretty
I
much me right
want
now.
I do I haven't done it yet, but I really would like to maybe sit down with my kids with the Daggerheart stuff since I have it,
Oh yeah,
physically to do an in-person little maybe mini adventure with them. So we'll see. We'll see.
it's a great system for it.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's look at real quickly crowdfunding campaigns. Not a ton going right now that I'm just like super interested in. The Where's Blade, um, Japanese mecha versus magic uh, RPG translation did complete. It had
Okay.
2,573 backers and was fully funded like in 10 minutes, but it ended at $239,733.
Oh well.
Great, great accomplishment
Yeah.
for that, and big congrats to them. Um, and then another one that's coming but is not started yet is from our friends over at Splattered Ink Games. You may recall that we had their lead designer on one of our episodes for to discuss the Time Traveler's Guide to Hunting Dinosaurs.
We still have
Um,
not played that either.
we haven't. I know
Yeah.
it's on the exhaustive list that we have,
It's on the exhaustive list. Very true.
but we're going to do it.
Yep.
We're going to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, but yeah, so but they are going to start a new campaign, and it is a RPG Essentials and it's going to be Tome of Beasts 1 and more, or something like that, acrylic token set. And so they're going to have
Yeah.
acrylic tokens. It's in collaboration with Kobold Press for their Tome of Beasts #1. So I'm super excited to see how this turns out. But that's coming in October. It's
Mhm.
not launched yet, but looking forward to that. So that's kind of kind of light on that right now, which is honestly fine.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So, but hey, you know what, Jeff, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's main topic,
I
which
like it.
is how to be a good role player. And let's be honest, the wide majority of us, okay, are not nerdy professional voice actors, right?
This is
And
true.
so many of us, we may feel inadequate, or we may
Mhm.
ask, how can we be better? Or how can we be like said professional? Take your pick. There's a lot of them out there, not
Mhm.
just the ones from Critical Role. The
Right.
reality is that we don't have to be like the professionals in order to
Mhm.
be a good role player at the table. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
We're just going to have a little discussion. Um, and for me, Jeff, and I think probably for you too, I think a lot of it starts with character creation.
Mhm.
Um, when you are designing your character, when you're describing what your character looks like, make sure that you're describing them not just to the table, but also writing it down in more detail. It'll help you role play them better. Um, It'll also help if you think ahead of time of, do you want to try a funny accent? Do you want to have catchphrases? Um, I know I've said this before, but one of my favorite characters, a friend of mine, he had a paladin who every time he would go into combat would yell for justice, and so write those down, right? If you, if they say something every time they go to combat, or they say something every time something happens, write it down with almost like a mechanic, um, or like how do they respond to social cues? Do they, are they good at it? Are they bad at it?
Mhm.
Just describe it, even if it's just in writing for yourself.
Right.
Think about those things ahead of time. What do you think? What else?
Mhm.
What else in character creation?
Yeah, yeah. So this is something that's important too, because I think it's important to realize what we're talking about when we're talking about like role play. Because it's not just talking with an accent; it's actually playing the role of your character, right? That's kind of what it means. And so think about like the way that your character would react. And so I mean, I think often we describe our character physically, like okay, he walks up, he's a short gnome, he's got dark tan trousers and a button up shirt that's missing half the buttons. And we go through all this, but we're not really thinking of and describing, okay, what kind of person is he? Is he excited? Is he mad? Is he right? Like we're think about his background a little bit, and that's like,
Yeah,
okay, does he come from a good, loving home? Was he raised by dwarves? Was he raised by wolves? Right, because that's now going to affect the way that you
I mean,
play
it's better
that
than being raised
character.
by dwarves.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Right. I mean, a gnome raised by dwarves, it could, be interesting. He didn't know until he got bigger. But right. But like, think about those things. Just a little bit of the background, and it doesn't take much. A lot of this can be developed as you're playing the character.
Yeah,
But like, start with some sort of background, and then just kind of your initial thought is just like, okay, how would he act? How would a gnome raised by dwarves act? Like, was he picked on all the time as a kid, and now he's really defensive? And like, he was called tiny, or like he couldn't handle his meat, and so like he double drinks like what everyone else drinks because he's trying to prove himself all his life. Like, that's just the little things that we're talking about when it's like playing the character is like think a little bit deeper, not necessarily just how you would respond, but how your character would. And
yeah,
so I agree. I think a lot of that starts with character creation, but I would say a lot of it starts in the backstory of your character.
yeah.
And And I've DM'd long enough now that I've had players that like send me a book for their backstory, and a few characters are like, my guy woke up in the woods and has amnesia. Make it up as we go, you know. And like I've seen both extremes,
Yeah.
but I recommend at least writing a few things out because that's going to influence how you actually play the character.
Let me guess, Reborn has done both of those things.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's done
yeah.
both of those.
He's given the novel, and he's also been like, I don't
And he's
know.
also like, I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
it's
He
good.
doesn't remember anything.
I love you, Reborn.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, I think another good thing to think about is speaking as the character, not for the character.
Ooh, yeah,
And
that's
what I
good.
mean by that is rather than say, and a lot of early players speak for the character, meaning they
Hmm.
say, well, I'd like to say this.
Hmm. He would say this.
Or
She would say
maybe I
this.
would say this. Yeah, she or he
Hmm.
would say this. Um, I want to talk to an NP. I want to talk to a villager. Well, what do you want to
Hmm.
say? Well, I want to ask him for this.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then, but then basically it's above role play talk with
Hmm.
you, the player, and the DM when you go through it that way,
Hmm.
as opposed to speaking as the character where you say, well, I walk up to the first person I see and I say to them, where can I find the blacksmith? You know, um,
Hmm.
so using words like I, me, we, talking about the party, basically speak in the first person, not the third
Hmm.
person.
Right.
Not that you're not going to describe what your character does in third person, but when speaking and when engaging in the role play as the character, not for the character.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's huge. You might have been the person who told me that. I know whenever I first started playing, someone told me that, and it has stuck with me this entire time. Is like one of the things I always try to do is I try to speak as the character. I don't say, Jace would walk up and say this. I say, I walk up and look him in his eye, but pull, boast out my chest, and be like, "Where's the little boy's room?" And right, like
Yeah,
the main thing is like you're the character, and that's one of the easiest ways to get into it. And
yeah,
and one thing I would kind of add on to that too is like don't don't think that you have to be like great at accents. I think accents are fun. I do them, and I'm really bad at them. But you don't have to be great at them. You could honestly just walk up and be like, "I speak in a low, raspy tone. Where's the bathroom?" Right? Like you can describe how it sounds and then say it. You
sure,
know,
sure.
I do that a lot as like the DM if they're talking with a character that I can't quite imitate how it would sound. I'm like he speaks out
Right.
and he has a very high pitched, breathy voice or whatever, and because I can't do those. But
Well, and I
uh,
think that's part of, we're going to be going back and forth between all these kind of like little points that we have
mhm,
here, but that goes to the character creation, right? If you are beginning your, and you're a new player and you're not good at accents, don't try to have an
mhm.
accent.
Right,
Play a
right,
character that doesn't have an accent. You can just use your own
yeah,
voice. It's okay. And in
yeah,
fact, you trying to do the second thing we said, whereof speak as the character, the more you try to
hmm
speak as the character, and you'll find yourself putting emotion behind it. You'll find yourself um speaking in an angry tone or whatever, however you're trying to convey emotion in the dialogue. um so that's like I said, it's something that is a challenge, but the
hmm
more you do it, um yeah,
right,
you can absolutely start to do that. And like I said,
yeah,
don't feel bad about not being able to do accents. I mean, like I feel like I'm
yeah.
okay at them, but honestly, the more that the longer I go into certain accents, sometimes I feel like that it starts to kind of blend into all
Oh
the
yeah.
same accent.
Uh,
If I'm
oh man,
not, and
this
heaven
week
forbid I
reborn.
have multiple NPCs with it. I started as an accent,
Yeah.
and then they definitely will start to blend together.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's the hardest. That is difficult, and I've had to do it several times. Is like I'll have two NPCs in the scene, and there's a moment where they have to talk to each other, and so then I'm having to like switch
Yeah,
accents. And if they're too close together, you're never gonna tell what they are.
yeah. DM problems. That's what that is.
Yeah, yeah, GM problems, absolutely. But yeah, I would say, I mean, this is we put it as like the second tip, but I think it's probably the best tip, or the best thing we're going to say if you're not already doing. If you're not already like really role playing, the best thing you can start doing is speaking as your character.
Yeah.
It's not he would, it's I would, right?
Yep.
And then it's actually speaking the words he's saying or she's saying, not they say or she says, he says. It's I say, and
Yeah.
just say it. That is going to be the best step in actually getting good at role playing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, what's the next one, Jeff?
So I would say the next one is going to be to know your actions and abilities, and by that we mean know what your character does, what they're good at, and then I would go kind of back into your backstory again. It's like if your character, like think of any good book, right? Like think of Kaladin in the Stormlight Archives, like. He is one with the spear. Like when he gets the spear in his hands, it's like an extension of him. It's like an art form, a dance. Why is it like that? Because he spent like hours and hours and hours practicing every single day. Like he has a whole backstory as to why he's so good at it, and then like you find out some other stuff about it. But like he has a backstory and there's reasons. So if your character is an incredible spellcaster, okay, they've probably spent hours practicing these spells. Okay, bring some of that into your abilities. Okay, as someone who's spent probably the last 20 years of their life or 100 years of their life, depending on their race and stuff, like, okay, how has that influenced your character and the way that they're able to do the things that they've done?
Yeah.
And the way they're able to do things, like, is it effortless or is this a new spell they're learning? And I don't know. I think like once you know, and then like because you get these things. A great example would be I had a character, the first character I ever played, which is Jace Faraday. He was a life cleric, and I just found he was a life cleric, but some of his strongest spells were necromancy spells. And so I actually wrote it into his backstory as I was still developing his character, is that like he still performed necromancy because his first like teacher was a like dark wizard that kind of like captured him, held him against his will and stuff like that. That started to influence the way he played his character and the way that he seen necromancy. He actually seen like bringing the dead to life as like giving them a second chance, a chance to do good with their life or with their death rather, and it influenced how I actually played him and interacted with the other players and stuff that were there.
Yeah. Yeah. Theoden did not appreciate that one time.
Thurden did not care for that. He did
No.
not. He did not see it the same way
No.
Jace did. Jace didn't
No.
see a lot of the things he did either.
That's
Right
true.
way.
That's true. Yeah, I think too, it's one of those things where not everyone is going to have a GM that asks questions like, well, what does it look like when you
Mhm.
cast magic? And so think about
Right.
those things ahead of time too. Like, what does it look like? What does your magic look like? Um, does it is it are you writing runes in the air? Are you reading from a book because you're learning spells like a wizard? Are you making like cool like glowing magic arcane symbols or something? Um, are you writing them on paper and then like you know using those or however the spells may look? What does it look like?
Mhm.
How does your character draw their weapon? You know,
Right.
look up some of those descriptive terms like, oh, well, you know what? I have a rapier, but I'm a small statured hero. So maybe I can't draw it from the side. Maybe I have to draw it from over my back because it's too big for
Mhm.
me. So
Right.
know those things, know what it is, how it is you're going to draw them. Say like, I always like, pull it over my back and I swing it down in a strike, and again, know like, learn some descriptive words. A thesaurus is your friend in a
Yeah,
TTRPG. Let me just say that.
that's true.
Or at this point, AI thesaurus. Uh,
Right. Yes.
um, you
ChatGPT,
know,
give me more words like
give me
this.
more words like slash with a sword.
Yeah.
Give me a bunch of descriptive terms for sword fighting.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, these are some of the best examples of using a tool like that. And
Mhm.
it's okay because you're just using it
Yeah.
for what you would, just general internet inquiries. You're not generating anything.
Right.
But yeah, know those abilities. What does it look like? what does it look like when you run or jump or hide? Do you have like a special flourish? Do you always leap over tables? You know, you know, even though you don't need to in a bar fight.
Mhm.
You know.
Right, yes. Well,
um,
that's something I would say too, like kind of going on. Even I would talk to your GM about or your DM about this. Is like ask how if they're okay with you flavoring things a certain way. So,
yeah,
like an example, like okay, so you're a spellcaster. That doesn't mean you got to pull out a wand or a staff and that's all you use. Ask maybe you're like a gentleman and you're going like more steampunk with your character. Ask your GM if like your pipe can be your spellcasting focus. And
yeah,
so then like your character like takes a draw and they puffs out like in the spell code, just cool things like that. I played a character like Wit and he did some cool stuff with his pipe, but with
nice.
the smoke and stuff. But yeah, like I mean, I think like doing just asking your DM, hey, can we flavor it this way? I know it's not how it normally work, but it's just for flavor. It's not adding or taking away anything.
Honestly, ninety
I think
percent of
trying to
the
do stuff like that.
time when you approach your DM with an idea,
Yeah.
they're probably going to say yes because they're like, oh yes, somebody else is invested in this as much as me.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's a cool
so,
idea. Let's do it. Yeah.
yeah, the more you have on that, yeah, absolutely. But
Sure.
yeah, know your actions and abilities.
Hmm.
Um, Also, we've said this, but this is kind of the next one on the list. Uh, Write these things down. You know, don't be afraid to write down. Like I said, um, things that you say, mannerisms that you have. The more that you write these down to have recorded, the better it is for you to be consistent from session to session. And then you're not thinking like, oh, what did I say when I went to combat last time? I felt like that was
Hmm.
a catchy
Right.
phrase that I want to use again, but I don't remember. So write them down. Write down the descriptions of how you talk or how you act. All these things we're talking about. Um, you don't have to be the party's note taker, but write down things about your own character. Writing them down will help you for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I love. I don't like to write things down. I'm not a note taker. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and tell you I'm the note taker. I'm not. I even in my D&D campaign, I have one of my players that I message almost every week and ask for his notes. And so like that's the level of note taker that I am. But I love whenever I have like a cool character like that. Like you immediately reminded me of a paladin I played in a recent like mini campaign that I played in, and his name was Keonan Stormwar. I pulled up his sheet right here because I wrote it all down. But I flavored him. Sort of like the personality of Maui, if you've watched Moana. And
Yes.
so, like, he had a whole song. In his song, he's like, I have it here. It's like, I am Keonan, the Leonin, with a heart as fierce as a roaring sea. And like, he would just, anytime he had got the chance, he would like sing a shanty and he'd run into battle. Like, he was a black rose and he was very proud. So even when they were like, we should go in quiet, and he's like, I'm not going to do that. The black rose cowers before no one. And
Yeah.
just such a fun character. But I wrote down a bunch of like catchphrases for him. And he was a Leonin, so he hated getting wet. And so there's certain things he would say whenever it would start raining or he had to go through the river or something.
That's
But
awesome.
it's just like little things like that to just pull out. And then you just have like a little notebook of fun stuff your character would say.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's again, these are just ideas to help you be better at it,
Mhm.
and that we have found have been helpful for us for sure.
Yeah. And I'll
Um,
say this one's really good from like the DM side too, is
mhm.
I'll have my NPCs and I'll have a lot of catchphrases or maybe just mannerisms they frequently do. Like they frequently talk in the third person. And so I'll just have a bunch of sentences where they've referred to themselves in the third person, or when they interact with this player, this is how they have, affinity for this player, but they don't like this one. And so some first things they might say back and forth to them from
Yeah,
just a DM side is really helpful too.
absolutely. What's next?
Next would be just ask for help. This is one of those things. Ask for help. Practice. Um, I've done both these. I know whenever I first started playing, I had like an ongoing DM with Seth here. like asking about the game and different things you can do or can't do. And I did watch some like RP videos to see how to actually do it and stuff. And when I first started playing, it was super awkward. RP is now my favorite part of the game. That's why I'm
Oh
really
yeah,
bad at like playtests, is because I still want to do all the RP stuff. And the RP you can't really test. It's the same in every system, okay?
right.
For the most parts.
Yeah, for sure.
But I still want to do it because it's my favorite part. But I will say, and this is probably not applicable to everyone, but especially I do this more as a DM. I guess I do it some as a player too. But like I'll be riding in the car with my kids, and I'll be testing out like voices and like
Mm.
pretending to be different characters, just my kids. So like my kids love Keonan because I'll pretend to be like we're driving down the road and I'm like playing Keonan and he's like singing a song and like responding to them like a Leonin would. And so I love to just like kind of play with voices and do things like that, and my kids have a good time with it. And sometimes they're like, "You sound like a girl," and I'm like, "Well, you sound like a girl," and, and stuff. So that's something I like to do. It's fun.
Yeah. Um, no, absolutely. And also too, I kind of said it, but ask for help. Ask for help to practice,
Hmm.
whether it's with your DM or another character, a player character. Um, it doesn't have to be all about practicing, a voice or something, right?
Hmm. Right.
That's absolutely going to be easier if you've practiced certain words or certain catchphrases. But if you practice doing role play, right? Saying like, "Hey, all right, so and some of this practice will be in game, right?
Hmm.
But practice it like say, "Hey, you know what? I think I might have something to say," and then,
Hmm.
you know, go into it. Don't feel like you have to wait for the DM to initiate
Hmm.
these RP moments, especially if you're in the flow of a story and you see a good opportunity. Um, you know, and like I said too, ask other players like, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to RP this moment in the next session. Can we like maybe have a time to do that?" Or ask the GM, "Hey, can I want to talk to this one NPC because I feel like that, maybe they're part of my backstory." So, like I said, ask and practice, talk it out, write out some things you want to say. Um, and that'll be huge. So,
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I I don't know. I'll drive around in my car and stuff and like practice voices or the way that a character would respond to different like things that I think may happen in a session, because you kind of always set yourself up. Oh, we ended off here. We're probably going to encounter the big bad in our next session. What am I going to
yeah.
say to him? Like, what would Jace say, or what would Keonan say? And it's very different based on the character I'm playing at the time. But
Yeah.
and just kind of play through those situations in your head too, and try to get yourself in that. And that's actually something I would recommend too. Is like, even when you're not sitting down at the table, think through what happened and be like, oh, could I have played that a little bit better? Like,
Yeah.
would my character respond? And I guess I'm also going to add on to that and be like, again, this is all for fun. None of
Yeah.
us are getting paid to do this.
No, not
But
at all.
like, if you want to
No.
get better at it and you want to have more fun with it, just think about those things. Like, okay, I know in this next session we're going shopping. What would my character be looking for? How's he going to respond when they try to overcharge him, or would he say anything at all? Like, or would he just pay the money, or is he frugal and he's going to save all his money? Right?
Yeah.
Just try to think through those things that are coming up as well and how your character would respond to it. And then when you get in the session, do so. Or maybe once you're in the session, it all changes because there's another variable thrown in that you weren't ready for, and you got to like, think on your feet,
Yeah.
and all that comes into play as well. And that's stuff you can't really practice for. You just respond to, and that's the fun of a game like D&D or other TTRPGs,
Yeah.
because you can't always plan it out.
And that's really the last thing, what you said. Just do it. In the
Hmm.
session when it comes up, join in, right?
Hmm.
The more that you play and spend time with a character as a character, not just talking about your character,
Right.
uh, the more comfortable you're going to be, the better you're going to be at it, and it's gonna come together. And a lot of times, that's where a lot of fun comes. Getting together with friends and telling a story, but as the character, pretending, right?
Right.
Who
Yeah.
people are always like, well, what, like. I don't get what D&D is. It's just telling a story together, but pretending that
Yeah.
you're the characters, right? Just like we did
Mhm.
on the playground in, second grade.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And trust me, you once had an imagination. It'll come back if you start using it.
It sure will. It sure will.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try it. I think the more that you do, and the more that you do some of these things, I think the more fun it can be, for sure.
Mhm. I think so. I mean,
So
I don't know, and I'm not going to say this as an overall statement, but most of the people that I've played with after they've gotten to playing quite a bit, like the RP of it, and that's not always the talking moments. Not everyone loves those, but even the RP of combat and the RP of like the puzzle solving and stuff like that, RP becomes one of their favorite parts of the game. And I think honest
yeah,
for most of us, RP is what separates TTRPGs from playing World of Warcraft, right? The-
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
like I said, you can absolutely min-max your character, right? We talked about it in our
Mhm.
last episode about character creation. You can min-max your character. You can try to pick
Mhm.
the best race, class, background combo to get all the exact feats and such that you need to be the best ranger, archer,
Mhm.
that you need to be, or the best wizard that you need to be. But a lot of times it's more fun when you don't.
Yeah, it is. Oh, flaws. I
So
mean, flaws I think are so much fun. And that's also goes into the RP of it as well. What's something your character is
100% goes
bad
into the
at?
RP. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, having a character that yells every time they go into combat makes it hard for the rest of the party to enter combat stealthily,
Right.
you know?
Right. Absolutely.
Or having a character that every time they see a crossbow, they have to attack. They have like trauma based on something with a crossbow. And so anyone that has a crossbow, they pretty much attack immediately. That's an RP. That is a role play moment right there.
Yeah.
Um, or having, like I've done one where I did not know social cues with a character.
Mhm.
I basically used my charisma as a dump stat. So I was like an 8 or 7 or
Right.
something. It was horrible. And so
Yes.
I would intentionally be like really obtuse when like an
Mhm.
NPC or another character was talking and just act, and I would just be like, that would probably go over my head. And I just would like, ignore it and just like maybe say
Yeah.
something else. So the flaws
Oh yeah.
help make it more fun, both
The
in
character.
the character creation and in the role play.
Yeah. So the character I just played on Friday, this ended up being like just a fun flaw, and he was like he was basically a bouncer. He was security, but in that when he was sent on this quest, he asked basically if he was allowed to kill the bandits because he's gotten in trouble for that before, killing people that weren't supposed to be killed, and so they basically told him only if they try to kill you first. And so that was now his flaw is like he wouldn't hurt anyone that didn't first try to hurt him. And
Nice.
then we had like a Clank that was with us who was super like analytical, and he was one of our players, and he's like, I think this is premeditated self-defense. And so then like I would
Nice.
make the bandit come up to me, and like he would swing at me, and then my character would just yell premeditated self-defense and just start punching him. It was so much fun. But
That's
like
great.
even like when combat was right there, he couldn't do anything until someone made contact with him.
That's a great
Yeah.
like way to put it. Premeditated self-defense. I love that. Um,
Yeah, it was so good. That Clank was a lot of fun too. But everything he said, he was so almost like that. He had no social cues. He read
yeah.
into nothing. He was very analytical. Like if you tried to say a metaphor, he would like question everything. It was so good.
I have not had the opportunity nor put thought into it, but I would love to do the Bumblebee character, right? Where all you have is
Oh yeah.
pre-recorded lines. You don't have any kind
Yes.
of you have to go off of like songs or movie quotes or something. That I think would be fun.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun. We
Um,
we actually need to do okay, future episode plan.
okay.
Everyone leave us an idea in the comments. Should we do this where we come up with just like 3 or 4 different character concepts each that we think would be fun for people to play, something like the Bumblebee character like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then just have a video like an episode where we're just going through those, so it's like if you don't have an idea for your next build, here's some cool ideas of
Yeah.
unique builds. I think that'd be cool.
We could absolutely do that.
I've actually watched episodes and stuff like that, and I enjoy them a lot. So I think it'd be fun to do some.
Yeah. Um, awesome. Well, you know what? I think that's going to wrap up our main topic, unless you have anything else to say, Jeff, on
Uh,
how to be how to be good at role play.
I have a lot to say, but I think we should probably go and wrap it up right here because I can ramble on and on about this forever. And so no, I think that's good. I think it's a great starting point. Speak as the character, not for the character. Have some idea of your backstory. Write a few things down, and then just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Definitely have fun. That's very key. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
well, um, yeah. So once again, thank you for joining us on the RPG Rundown. If you did not know, we are a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Hit that like and subscribe. It definitely helps us out. We are at youtube.com/at the RPG Rundown LTN. You can also find all of our socials. Pretty much most of the main social medias. It's the RPG Rundown or RPG Rundown. You can find us. But yeah, you can also check us out. Look at lovethynerd.com. It will have links in the show notes, obviously, as well. Check out all the fun things that they have. They have everything from board games to wrestling to comic podcast to theological discussions. It's great because we are a Christian podcast network, but we're here to love and serve our nerdy neighbors. And Jeff and I get to do that with TTRPGs because
Yeah,
that's something that we both really enjoy. So,
that's it. That is absolutely.
but thanks again. Hope you guys have a fantastic next few weeks. And until we see you next time, from our table to yours, thanks for joining us on the RPG Rundown.
And until next time, may your rolls be epic and your stories legendary.